this is the world's best podcast. The biggest thing that magicians do not get is self-awareness.
Hello guys, welcome to one more Magic Insight podcast. With us today we have Jacques Rhodes. It's Rhodes, right?
Rhodes.
Rhodes,
yeah.
sorry.
Yeah.
Jacques Rhodes.
It's all right, because I'm going to mispronounce your name massively, so don't worry about it.
Yes. Jack, before we start, I must tell you this. And I think I speak for our tour as well.
Mm-hmm.
We saw your live show in Blackpool, and it's very rare that this happens. We left the theater and we were totally blown away by your show. It's one of the most original magic shows we have ever seen. So
I mean, the bar was low.
Most magic
but
shows.
we liked it.
Yeah, this one was like, not bad.
Yeah. But really, it was unbelievable. The amount of originality, creativity, and for people that are going to see your show, there's a lot of magic, but there are many moments with video and sound effects. It's unbelievable. And I was even more blown away the next day after Blackpool when I figured that you did it all by yourself without having one single person helping you. And even better, it's like even the show, it was all made by yourself. So without any help from anyone, which is...
Well, I mean, you say that though, like there have been, friends have helped out with things here and there. And, like my lie detector hat, I've got a friend who built that. So it's very nice of you to say all this, but like it's, as much as, the show is mine, I couldn't have done, I wouldn't be where I am.
You on stage.
Yeah.
And, what
I'd
about
like the sound
backstage?
cues and stuff. And
Do you have anyone backstage helping with
I
anything
think that's your check, right?
prepping your
no,
stuff?
no, I wouldn't trust anybody to.
Yeah. So it's like if you need to prep everything in advance before the show starts.
Yeah.
So something electronic, something.
That's all. Yeah, I don't have a team or anything that can. I mean, I've a friend of mine at Blackpool, a friend of mine called Paul, would help unload stuff from the car. But in terms of setting stuff up on the show,
Always.
I've got to turn it. I've got a checklist, and there's a lot of things that have.
But the whole show, it's so creative. All the script, it's... it's the way you start the show. I don't know if you want to give that away or not. The way you start, it's so...
Yeah, we can talk about that. Yeah.
Yes?
Yeah.
Do you remember how the show started?
Yes. Actually, I've seen a couple of videos of yours, and one of these videos on your Instagram, it's showing the timeline, like the editing timeline.
Yeah.
So it's something that you are really proud of, is that you actually edit video.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah. So I guess what the thing I'm most proud of is I think I'm quite good at a lot of different things. So there's like the writing, the technical ability of magic, editing, the production. Like I'm pretty good at a few different things. I'm also quite bad at a lot of other things, but those few things. And like, I don't know, for me, if I'm going to be a stage magician, I want to like lean into the thing that makes me different to everyone else. And not many other people can do the editing stuff. So like, okay, well, let's include videos and stuff. And then you start to, like as a comedian, then you start to think, oh, maybe I can do some jokes with the editing. Maybe there can be a version of me on the screen and now I'm talking to myself. But yeah, I mean, you talk about the show intro. Basically, the premise is the video plays, introduction, and it's like, expect big magic, big production. And you're seeing like things blow up on screen and it's like, God, this is going to be amazing. Expect lions. And then I walk out from the audience and, whoa, hang on. Sorry. Give us a second, everyone. And now the video changes to like me at home editing, and I go, sorry, what's going on? And now I'm talking to myself on screen, and I'm going, look, you've built expectations up way too high. We need to take it down a notch, okay? Where are we getting lions from, okay? And now editor me, okay, right, give us. We'll take two. We'll try it again. Then I walk off stage, and now the video intro plays again. Except this time it doesn't say expect big magic or like prepared to have your mind blown. It says prepared to have your mind tickled, and the whole thing is like just and that came from watching other magicians' introductions.
Like
and then seeing
the
the
best in
show,
the world,
and then going like, well, hang on, this doesn't line up with what you just said. So yeah, there's loads of little things in there but it's been a whole process. The show I'm really proud of, but like, I don't know, it's like quite quickly it came together. I like that 6 months to make the show. And to be fair, when I did Blackpool, I kind of didn't want to do it because it felt too early. Like I still consider it a work in progress. And like that was an hour version. The actual tour show will be 2 45-minute shows with an interval. So like there's still a lot of stuff that wasn't seen. But I'm still like, I'm a bit of I think it's the same with your stuff, like perfectionism. I'm always tinkering, I'm always improving. I watch every single show, I take notes and, this bit could be improved. This line didn't quite work. I wonder if I can tweak it. And like, we've spent a couple of days together. I'm looking at your stuff and like, it's the same attention to detail. To the point where even like the trailers and stuff, even the trailers are in a league of their own compared to other magic shops. And when you talk to me about the development of the props, I think it's the attention to detail that separates. It's the small things that have a big impact. I think at the end of a show, you leave the show or you feel a product, and at the end of it, you go, "Wow, this is in a different league to the other stuff." And I think it's the attention to detail that unlocks that.
And we're talking about something but thank you for the compliments. But I think that we're talking about this because, and I want to have your opinion, Arturo, on this as well, because we're talking, most magicians do all the same tricks, right?
Yeah.
You said, perhaps they should change something and to do something different. And my answer was, I cannot point the finger to those magicians because I did many magic shows and my magic shows were the same. I did the snowstorm.
Yep.
I did the multiplying sponge rabbits. So, and what I mean is, I cannot point the finger to them because I was exactly, so I started to go to this. I think I'm good or better at least at developing products for magicians.
Yeah.
So, but I think that taking a show to the level of yours and your creativity, I think you need to be special. I don't think, especially when you have no one helping you. I mean, if you tell me, I have like 5 people from theater, tell me what to do, tell me what to say, it's different.
Yeah.
So I think it's, I mean,
but that is that was a choice. That was a financial choice first. Okay, so I can't, like, I'm new to this, so I can't afford to have a big team. Maybe down the line, maybe down the line, I will go. It'd be cool to have somebody that can build custom props, and I don't know, that would be cool. But I am in the position where, first off, I wanted to do it by myself because I wanted to see what the process would be like. This is my first ever like show,
It's unbelievable how is that possible. I mean, it's ridiculous.
But what? Yeah, well,
because
thank you.
It's so good. It's
but like I wanted to do it by myself, and maybe next time I will have a director, or I will have.
If you have someone, if you are with your show in this level, and if you have someone helping you, I mean, the sky's the limit. I mean, it's
But that's quite exciting. But I wanted to do I wanted to do it by myself, just so that I know the difference. So next time, if I do it with a director, I know like what the benefits were. Because if I did the show straight away with a director, I might
have some constraints.
Yeah,
perhaps.
maybe I'd be like, well, hang on, do I even need the director? Maybe, but now I've done it by myself. The next show I can, maybe I do have a director, and I know now the difference.
The thing is, I think that your show and your character, your persona on stage, is a product of your your
life experience,
your living. Yes.
Yeah.
How old are you?
28.
28. So you are younger than us, not much, but the thing is,
year or two.
you consume other type of entertainment. You consume other type of media than we do, or we used to do when we were like performing big time. So I think it's a product. It's a consequence of the things that you consume nowadays.
Yeah.
But how many people do you see with 28 years doing this show? No one.
You need to be creative as
No
well. But
no one. There is no one else. I cannot tell any other name. Perhaps I could compare Jacques' originality perhaps with Piff, which is in Vegas.
But it's different, somehow different. It's
still,
like
the level of originality is on the same, I think.
But you said you are a comedian as well?
Yeah, so I did stand-up comedy for a couple of years, no magic. So it was just stand-up. And it's funny you said there before that you feel like you did you performed, and now you feel like you just make products, and that's the best version of what you can do,
in my opinion.
yeah.
Yes.
And I think, because I was like an okay comedian, but I think the best version of me is a comedy magician, because it's like I can combine all these different things that I can do. So yeah, I did comedy for 2 years. Then COVID hit, pandemic. There's no gigs, and then I started doing video stuff at home. And then this whole world of like literally the world is your oyster. You can do whatever you want on video. And then came the creative stuff of like, oh wow, like that's when I started learning editing. And I got better at like, it's a process. I was editing on an iPad, filming it on my phone. Then I bought a camera. Then I bought proper editing software, and you level up slowly. Mm-hmm. And so I think I did a lot of the learning curve that a lot of magicians go through. I went through on video, because I think the biggest thing that magicians do not get is self-awareness. Hardly any magician knows how they come across on stage, because all close up. But when you watch yourself on video so much, and stand-up comedy teaches you this, you get a real sense of how you come across to people that don't know who you are. You can be funny with friends, because friends know who you are. You have inside jokes. You take the funny person in your friendship group and put them on stage in front of 200 strangers, they're probably not going to be funny. They'll cramp up. They don't know what to say. It's such an unnatural thing. But when you get to understand who you are and how you come across to strangers, by filming yourself and by being on stage, that I think unlocks the self-awareness to then be like, okay, now I know what my character is. Because once you know what your character is, it gets a lot easier to write routines. And because now I can see a trick will come out and I'd be like, that's a good trick, but that wouldn't suit me, because I know, I would never use that prop, or it's not natural for me. Mm-hmm. But yeah, the stand-up comedy, I mean, I would recommend that. It's not an easy thing at all, but I would recommend that.
Right?
Yeah, really hard. But like, I mean, I would record every single show as audio, and I would listen back to the laughs. And with stand-up comedy, like I had 10 minutes that were really good, and I would get booked for the 10 minutes, and you would listen to it, and you would you want to get a good laugh every 10 seconds is a good sign of and so maybe there's 20, 30 seconds gone and I've not got a laugh. So I need to tighten that bit up. But then I was only recording it through audio. Then I started doing shows and I was recording video as well. And I realized, oh, actually, I can be quite funny with my face. Like expressions are a huge thing.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And so it's only by recording yourself on video that you really get a sense of how you come across.
That's absolutely true.
Yeah.
Regarding the stand-up comedy, you mentioned that you have to have like a laugh every 10 seconds and all that. There is a lot of reading material for stand-up comedy, right? In terms of
less than magic, though. A lot less than magic.
Less than magic.
Yeah.
I mean,
there's maybe
building stuff.
Yeah, but there's maybe 3 or 4 books and resources on stand-up, because it's quite rare for a comedian to write down their thoughts on comedy. Like with magicians, most magicians have released DVDs or books. Hardly any comedians have released their process. So but also because comedy is kind of different to magic, where what works for you might not work for me, because you can get away with different comedy than I can. Like we all have different personas, and comedy is so attached to your persona that you can do a double lift and get a good reaction. I can do a double lift and get a good reaction. But you might tell a joke different to how I tell it, and you get the laugh and I don't.
Reactions.
So you kind of have to find your own thing anyway. There's no roadmap that there's certain things you can apply, but I think you've really got to, this is what I mean, you've got to get a sense of who you are before you can even get on stage, I think.
And you told me that it's harder to create new magic than comedy bits.
Well, I think we'll put it this way. Most comedians write a new hour of material every year or every 2 years. They've got a new hour of material.
And they tour their show.
They tour that show, and it's a new show every year or every 2 years. Like Edinburgh Fringe. There's usually people are doing a different show every year.
Have you been to?
I've never been. I would love to do that, yeah.
Uh-huh.
Like I say though, I'm so new to it that I would like.
You should, absolutely.
I would like to do that. But then it's also it's a month away from home, and it's quite expensive, and it's a risk. And because I did Britain's Got Talent, perhaps the doors that Edinburgh would open have already been opened. I don't know, but I think I would still like to do it. But yeah, like comedians will make an hour of material every year. And magicians can't do that. You can't make an hour of material every year as a magician.
Original.
Yeah, original
It's tough,
material.
of course, very tough.
Because it's development of tricks. It's. I mean, building the thing. Like,
yes.
You know, we were speaking to Mario yesterday, and Mario said that he sees magicians as a mix of artists and engineers. And I thought that's a perfect example. Like, some people are more artists than they are engineers. Like, you're probably more an engineer because you build props and stuff. Whereas somebody who just performs is probably more on the artist end. But to make your own original stuff and perform it, you kind of have to be both. And so I think to do that every year, I think it's impossible. But you know, happy to be proven wrong.
Yes,
yeah, I'm sure somebody will do it, but
I don't know. It's really tough, I think.
I mean, it would be quite easy to make an hour of rubbish material every year, but we're talking about an hour of good stuff.
Yes.
But then it's like, would you rather spend? For me, you know, maybe every 3 years a new show, and so that feels like enough time to work it
on
in
it
and to get it to a good state, do it, and then start working on new stuff. Because after a certain point, I think you get bored of the same stuff. Like.
But yesterday I asked you, if you had more 6 months, can you do another totally different show? And he told me probably. So it's you work really hard. I mean, and fast. I mean,
yeah, but then like this show has come like literally. So I did Britain's Got Talent in June, and then I did the first run of the show in December, and I had I had maybe 10 minutes in June, and in December I had 90 minutes. So that was 6 months. But it's still a work in progress. Like, I don't see it as a finished product. It's still got a lot of work. But if you'd said, okay, you whole new show, you got another 6 months, I think I could, but I don't think it would be as good because the first show is like, it's my entire, everything I've done in my life is this now in this 6 months.
Of course,
and so a new 6 months would be like, well, I can't draw on this or I can't draw on that. So I don't know. I feel like it's quite an arrogant thing to say as well, having done it in 6 months.
I'm sure you'll be able to, honestly. Because we're so fast, because we're speaking about ideas and new tricks, and you are very fast coming up with solutions and scripts, and you're really strong at that. It's crazy.
Yeah. But I think that comes from the video world. Like the video world of making YouTube videos and content, social media, you need to be like making stuff all the time. If you don't post something in like a month, your reach goes down. So you need to be like on it. And I think that trains you to just constantly be thinking of ideas and okay, I'll film that, done. What's the next thing? And so you're always thinking about ideas. And the ones that are really good, I'll write that down. That could be good live. Because like social media, I'm proud of what I've done, but the live stuff is the big one for me. So I don't mind doing stuff on social media that's like maybe 80% of what I want it to be because I need it out because there's a certain time frame. But for the live, you know, I can work on something for a year and get it really good, and that's quite exciting.
What do you think your audience is in terms of you just act in Blackpool, so the whole magician community now knows you, but before that and after that, who's going to be your audience?
Good question. I think there's two answers, and the first one is I thought that my audience would be the people that watch my videos, which are 98% male, in the demographic of 20 to 55, and most of them are American. So they're not going to come and see the show that's in England. Also, like, you can have lots of followers online, and this is what I'm learning, but most people that watch videos online, they're used to seeing content for free quite quickly. Is that the audience that's going to buy a ticket in a theatre? Then they're not the same people.
They're not the same.
So I'm now learning that there's two different audiences. You've got the video audience, and some of them might buy tickets, but you've also got a different audience, which is going to come and see you in a live show. And this I'm still figuring out.
This is the audience, perhaps, of Britain's Got Talent, like TV shows audience.
Yeah, I think so. And also, I think just for the next however many years, just building that up, just by going on tour. Like I go on tour next year, and that just being in the venues and putting my name out there, I think that will build up and maybe Edinburgh Fringe would do that actually. Maybe that would help. But I think the video helps, but this is a different thing to the live stuff. So I don't know.
And it's hard to do both, right? Taking care of the live shows and YouTube, because it's a lot of work.
Yeah,
right?
that's where, like, this is when you say like you need a team. I'm like, I do need a team, because as hard as it is doing the show, like I was doing the show, but I was also trying to keep up the social media stuff. And I do my own editing. I'd like, it's so time consuming that I'm at the point where I need to start thinking about, right, long term, I can't sustain this. If I'm doing both, maybe I need an editor or somebody who can help out with the videos. You know, I film it all myself, but maybe I film it and I send it to someone, and that means I can concentrate on this.
Yeah.
Miguel is right there.
Miguel, come and help out. Come and help out.
Because your videos are very intricate. Like the editing is like very dynamic and
a lot of details.
Yes,
a lot of details.
Yeah. So it must be hard to edit that. And
but also then it's hard to find an editor that could do that in that style as well, because that would take a lot of training. And this is why, like, I look at your trailers and I'm like, that's in a league of its own, because I appreciate what the attention to detail has gone into it.
Miguel is very happy.
Miguel, honestly, like, listen, you come to England, I'll look after you, and we'll stay in my garage and we'll do some editing. But yeah, so this is where, like, I mean, long term, I need to fix that. But
yeah,
but also, like, I take a certain pride in doing it all as well. Like, I look back on the YouTube stuff, and that is entirely just me doing this on my computer, and that's quite nice. So as hard as it is that, like, it's a very time consuming, it's pretty cool that I've kind of built it all up from nothing. That's quite nice.
How many followers do you have on Instagram? And then
Instagram is like 115,000.
Uh-huh.
By the way, well, YouTube is like 250,000. TikTok is like 150,000. Facebook 50. I think maybe 500,000 across everything.
Mm-hmm.
Which is great. Yeah, it's amazing.
Unbelievable.
It's amazing.
And that's quite an audience.
Yeah.
But again, not only like 1% or maybe
1% of them will buy tickets. Yeah, exactly.
Shows.
Yeah. And also, like, you know, I in terms of magicians online, I'm way down. There's so many big magicians that have got millions of followers.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, a lot of them are doing exposure and stuff, but because that's the easy way. But like the Instagram, so like what was crazy there is I had like 5,000 followers for ages, and then I quit my job and I went full time, and within 6 weeks, I went from 5,000 followers to 100,000 followers, just like pretty much overnight. And since then, it's just nothing. Maybe 15,000 in like a year.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, and it was like 2 videos that did it.
Really?
Yeah, it was madness. There was a video, the first slow motion magic video that I did, got like 7 million views on Instagram.
7 million?
Yeah. And then there was another video I did called Sleight of Hand Level 100, which was like this really complex ace assembly routine. And I was doing really complex sleight of hand, but also telling jokes, blindfolded. And then at the end, I'd reveal all the cards were in order. And that got like 8 million views. And that was just like just a magic routine. And I was like, wow. And them 2 videos hit at the same time, 100,000 on Instagram. Wow. And then within like 2 months, 100,000 on YouTube. But I was saying before, like, it's funny how you have certain goals. And like what I've learned now is I try and detach myself of the numbers, because this all sounds amazing. But when I hit that 100,000 on YouTube, I mean, if you'd have told me 5 years ago when I first started, you're going to hit 100,000, I would have been like, you're joking. But once I hit 100,000, my first thought was like, okay, well, 200,000 would be quite good.
Mm-hmm.
And so you're just never happy. You're just always chasing the next
thing. We spoke about that.
Yeah. And so,
that's why billionaires are crazy.
Yeah, billionaires are crazy. That's the moral of the story. So yeah, but I'm like, so now I try and detach myself of the numbers and don't even think about it, because there's no happiness there.
That's right. We spoke a lot about that yesterday. Yeah, it's.
You mentioned before, I believe, not sure in your show, but you were like engineer. Yes.
Yeah.
You worked. I mean, nuclear engineer.
Yeah.
You left your job.
Yeah.
To pursue the dream.
Yeah.
First, what is a nuclear engineer? Do you know what is a nuclear engineer?
Sure.
You know,
and it's an engineer who deals with nuclear stuff.
But like, a lot of things can be done in that field, right? I mean.
Yeah. I mean, like like that's all true. Everything.
Homer Simpson was a
Homer Simpson.
Engineer.
That's my dad. It's Homer Simpson. The nuclear engineering thing is true. Like I've got a degree in mechanical engineering. You know, I got really good grades at school and stuff. And arts was always like.
I saw some drawings yesterday of yourself that you did, like, and write. It's unbelievable. The sketches and.
Yeah, I did. Yeah. So
it's amazing.
Basically, as a kid, I did a lot of like weird hobbies. Sketching, caricatures. I played banjo, guitar, magic. I did clay animations, like stop motion animation with puppets. Like, look, the things that if you're a father and you said, right, what would you like your son to be doing? You'd pick maybe like sports, and but I would pick the opposite of none of that. I was in my bedroom making animations, right? And my dad would be like, will you just go ride your bike and just do something normal and get some friends? But all these things, and then I sort of stopped doing them, or like I did them a little bit, but then I started work, and then I met a magician in the office at this nuclear place, and that kind of sparked the magic again. But never did I ever think that would be a career. And then it kind of got to a point where I was like, actually, I got one viral video on YouTube, which was I did a parody of Penn and Teller Fool Us, and I pretended to be on the show, and I put like a green screen behind me, and I was like pulling my thumb off and doing this, and Penn and Teller were like reacting to it and standing ovation, and it went super viral. And that was the first time that I earned any money on YouTube. And then as soon as I saw money come in, I was like, wait, does this mean this could be a career? So then I quit my job, which was quite hard to do because I enjoyed my job. It was a really good job.
So what's the reason to having quit your job? When was the moment that, okay, I'll quit my job and I'll start doing magic? And
my wife said to me, if you didn't chase this now when you don't have any kids and you've got the time to do it, would you look back on your life and regret not doing it? And I was like, oh,
very poetic.
She didn't say it quite as poetic, but you know. I tell you what, we watched the film. Have you seen the film Soul? Pixar film Soul. Have you seen that?
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
It's a good film. But basically the premise is that like everybody has got a thing that they should do in their life. And we watched that, and I was like, God, do you think I should do this magic stuff like as my job? Because all I do when I get home is think about this stuff, and I'm trying to be better at it. And she said, well, would you regret not doing it? And I was like, oh my God, I think I would. I think if I didn't try it now, when I've got the chance, I think I would regret it. And so, I mean, I didn't quit my job straight away. I took a sabbatical, like a career break. And my work were good enough that they like kept my job on hold for like 9 months. And basically I took 9 months off work. I saved up enough money, took 9 months off work. And if it didn't work out by the end of the 9 months, I'd go back to work. Same job. At least I've tried. Yeah. So I was like, oh, this is like a risk-free way of doing it. So I took the career break. And it was within that 2 months, that's when everything blew up online. And then I filmed the audition of Britain's Got Talent, and it went super well. And I knew that I was in the semi-final. And I was like, I can't go back to work now. This is like gone too well.
Your work was having a nuclear meltdown in the power plant.
No.
And you were doing magic.
No, productivity went up. They were like, oh, he's gone and we're doing better. You're not coming back. So like it was a no-brainer. And my work and all my team were like they could see it was working, because obviously they see the numbers online and like, oh, good for you, like go for it. And I was like, amazing. So I quit my job. But also like that career break, it wasn't just like, can I make it? It was also like, am I still going to enjoy doing it now that it's my job? Because this thing that I enjoy to do an hour or two at a night, if this is my job and my like living depends on it, and there's a bit of pressure there, am I still going to enjoy it? So it was also like an experiment. It wasn't just...
You do still enjoy it? I mean,
yeah, I love it. Yeah,
because somehow myself, I speak for myself. I kind of lost a little bit that that pleasure and that of acting. I don't know, but do you still do? Yeah,
yeah. I think
still like in the fairy tale.
Yeah, I think because it's all it's just a fairy tale. I'm like Goldilocks.
Hey, and you must find reasons to continue, and if you are really enjoying it, you get yourself rewarded every time.
Exactly, yeah, and that's where the motivation and drive comes from as well, which was massive for the show. I think the whole process has been like, I don't have any specific goals. So from the beginning, I was like, okay, well, let's just see where this goes. And because like so many things have happened, and I still feel like I'm so new to it all, I'm just like a sponge, and it's like I'm just on this massive learning curve. And like the show, like I don't know, maybe when I finally finish the show and I get it filmed and I release it, maybe then I go, oh, I've done that now. Maybe I won't enjoy it as much the second time. I don't know. But right now, yeah, I love it. And
But do you get good feedback? I mean, from your audience in social media, and then
yeah, but I try and not get validation from that, because for as many good comments and there's so many bad comments.
That's right.
And so if you take if you take pleasure from this, that means you're taking, you know. So I try and ignore that.
How do you get? I think validation is the right word. That's the word I wanted to have. Where do you get that validation then?
Good question. I don't think I've ever thought about that.
From your live audience, perhaps.
Yeah, maybe. But
the feedback you are getting from your peers, and
maybe. I mean, to be fair, Blackpool was an amazing experience.
Overwhelming.
Yeah, it was overwhelming actually. Like, I did the show, they both went so well, and for the rest of the weekend, people were coming up, and I did not expect any of this. But I went into Blackpool, kind of arrogantly thinking, I don't really care how this goes. I'm just going to do the show. This isn't for magicians. This is my own thing. I'm proud of it, and if nobody else likes it, you know, maybe it's not their thing. And I didn't care. And then an hour before the first show, it dawned on me. I was like, oh no, I actually really care about this. I hope this goes well.
You were a little bit nervous then.
Maybe not nervous. I just cared.
Yeah.
I wanted it to go well, and I knew that if it didn't go well, I'd probably be disappointed in myself. But before that, I didn't think I cared.
And after the show, the reaction was...
Yeah. And then so now there is definitely validation there, but that wasn't the reason for me to make it. I've not done the show to get respect from peers.
Of course.
And I don't think I've done videos to get respect. I don't really know where the validation is. I think maybe it's pride in my own stuff. I don't know. Or I don't know. Like, that's the main thing. I want to look back on whatever I've done and go, yeah, I'm proud of that. And
exactly.
Maybe that's the main thing. But I guess, again, I'm so new to it. I'm just kind of figuring out where that validation comes from.
Yeah.
Because it's probably not a healthy thing to attach like happiness in life to audience feedback.
Oh no, absolutely.
So maybe this is a good thing that I don't quite know where my validation comes from. I don't know.
And you still don't have kids?
I've got a kid on the way.
Yeah?
Actually, I don't know if I can say that.
Do you think? Oh,
No, your wife is listening.
No,
just
it's
kidding,
fine.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah, she was like, Jack, why did you say that? No, we can leave that in because
Yes.
I guess it's the first. Yeah, well, I've got a baby coming like in June, so I don't know when this comes out, but
we don't know either, but
we can postpone it.
so maybe but maybe 2 years when the kid's like a little bit grown up. Yes, no, but
do you think something will change?
Yeah, I think so.
I'm wanting to tie this to what your girlfriend said about trying this career once you don't have any kids.
Yeah,
and then now that you will be a father,
I think what will change. I think the pressure to financially like make this work.
That's also a thing.
It will be increased. Like my wife she's got an amazing job and she earns good money, and so that kind of takes the pressure off me a little bit. But I don't know, maybe down the line there's going to be more pressure on me to try and earn, and especially when we've got family and stuff. I think it will change things, and I think it will also change. It'll probably change my work ethic, because I might not want to be spending 12 hours a day editing and thinking of ideas because I can't physically. I don't know, like, I'm sure it will change stuff.
You will figure out.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Exciting though.
yes.
Yeah. She's going to watch, well, she's not, actually, she won't watch this. So we're safe.
Great.
Do you have like any... So magicians, like magic community, is also an audience, and you can both have magic community as an audience for your shows, or perhaps for your products. I know that you have, for example, some lecture notes. You also released a deck of cards,
average
size deck.
Average.
Yeah. Careful how you say that.
Yeah.
But do you have something thought as in terms of magic products for magicians? Because that's also a way of
making
money and making a living out of
so magic. When I first started this, the intention was never to have like I kind of wanted to remove myself from the magic world a little bit, which is again why I was a little bit apprehensive to do Blackpool, because I was like, long term, I think there's more of a career to be had serving to a lay audience, and my videos are aimed at a lay audience. They're not, magicians can enjoy them and magic fans can enjoy them, but they're not made for magicians. In the same way that I've not made the show for magicians, but magicians can still appreciate it. I've done lecture notes and stuff in the past because I got booked for a lecture at Blackpool, but like now that I've done the show, at Blackpool, I am kind of thinking, like I'm writing a book at the moment. I don't know whether or not this will be a thing, but I'm documenting the process of building the show. And because I record every gig, and I thought maybe
That's important.
yeah, maybe the book, like I'm already making notes and stuff of every show. Maybe the book could be this process, especially if the show is well received. Maybe people want to see the very first time that I tried a routine and what didn't work and how I changed it. And so maybe, yeah, but I'm like, I don't want to just do magic conventions and just that be my thing. No, I want to go on tour to actual people, because especially with comedy magic, like that is so much more rewarding when done to real people than magicians.
That's where you find joy, right?
Yeah, I think so. I think so. But again, like Blackpool was amazing. So there's clearly some joy to be had in having, like I was doing routines and there were applause breaks in the middle of routines that I've never had before, because magicians were appreciating the method of something. And so I was like, suddenly I'm getting validation for something that I've never had validation for. And I was like, oh, this is quite nice.
And in a different timing.
Yeah. Yes. And also other stuff that would work for a lay audience doesn't quite work as well for magicians. So it was just an interesting thing. But yeah, I definitely, going forward, the lay audience is definitely the focus. But, you know, every now and again, maybe serve this. But.
Now that you are focused now more on live shows, right? Because you are going on tour. How is your everyday life? I mean, you wake up at a certain hour, you are very rigid, like I'm going to, because I know magicians and they're lazy. They wake up at 12 p.m.
Yeah.
They have some food, right? There's some food, they work 2 hours, the day is done.
2 hours, that's a lot for most magicians.
No, so, but you are very, for example, we had here Luis Almeida, which is a world champion in micro magic, and he literally woke up at 6 a.m., had some training, and then he worked for 8-9 hours every single day in his routine.
Yeah.
So are you that rigid, or you let it flow, or?
I probably am that rigid. And I think because I've come from the world of a normal job, and actually it wasn't that normal, because a lot of the time I'd be doing shifts, I'd be doing 12-hour shifts. Because I've come from that world, when I quit my job, I felt the pressure I need to make this work. And so I actually worked more hours, and probably work more hours now than I did in my normal job.
Wow.
But I don't feel like it's work, because I enjoy doing it.
You enjoy.
Yeah.
That's great.
And so I actually struggle switching off. Like I go home and I'm still thinking about that routine. I wonder if I could do this a bit better.
It's the same.
And so you never stop.
Never.
And then it's like the game of trying to be present in everyday normal life. So yeah, I think my work ethic probably comes from A, having done a normal corporate job, and B, the fear of it just all falling apart. Because I don't think, well, I couldn't do the social media stuff just working 2 hours a day, or a week for most magicians. And I couldn't do the live stuff working 2 hours a day. So it needs.
You wake up at.
I wake up like 7 a.m. Straight into. My work is my garage. I've converted my garage to a studio. So I step out of the house, 2 seconds, I'm in work.
Okay.
Film, write stuff. And, you know, if I've got a gig that night, maybe, because I live in the middle of nowhere in England. I live basically I live near Blackpool, right? I'm an hour away from Blackpool.
Yeah.
And if I get a corporate booking, it's usually in London, which is like a 6-hour drive. So maybe my day-to-day is maybe I've got 1 gig a week, and the rest of the time I'm editing, or I'm filming, or I'm writing stuff, or I'm building things, or... Yeah, but I'm very...
To ask you, do you perform in... do you do gigs? Like, do you perform close-up? And
I used to do a lot of close-up.
And weddings as well, I remember.
Yeah.
I think so. You talk about the Omni deck or something.
Yeah, so I used to, before doing stand-up comedy, I would do like weddings at a weekend. Like, obviously a big wedding market in England. There was me and 2 other magicians. We were the Lakes wedding magicians, and we would do... like 2 hours of close-up, maybe once a week or something, and that where I got my chops really from for the
I don't see you
stuff.
performing at a wedding. I don't know why. I don't see you as like going to a group of strangers who are speaking with their drinks and let me show you card. I'm not seeing that in you, because you have this amazing stage show. I mean,
yeah, I don't. But that was before I found. But that was before video. That was before stand-up comedy. So maybe the persona that you see on stage didn't even exist at that point. So I was just I was just your normal magician, you know, I was pretty good at the close-up stuff. I was doing technical stuff, and it would always go down well. But I was quite bored of it very quickly because it felt creatively, I don't know, there's not much I can do here. Which
Always
is
the same.
Yeah, which is why stand-up comedy, like, I don't know, the difference between close-up and stage is massive. Like, first off, with close-up magic, you're trying to convince an audience that you're worth watching. Okay, so that's already the power dynamic is the wrong way around.
Yes.
So you're interrupting a table. You don't know when, like if you take a scientific approach, you look at every trick as an experiment. So in every science experiment, there's an independent variable and a dependent variable. And the dependent variable is the stuff that is always the same. So like in stage magic, you're always on stage. There's always an audience facing you. The lighting is good. The sound is good. And people have come to see a show. That's all a guarantee. That never changes. And your independent variable is the way that you deliver a line, or maybe you've tweaked a routine. And so you can do experiments and make stuff better. But in the world of close-up, there are no dependent variables. There might be music playing. Nobody can hear what you're saying. The lighting's bad, so they can't see the cards.
Yes.
The person you've just asked to sign a card doesn't have the glasses on, so they need to find the glasses. Now you've got 2 minutes of doing nothing. There's so many things.
Bottle of wine, so that person can see.
Exactly. There's so many different variables that, I mean, this is why it's quite interesting. It's a challenge because you're working in the moment. Yeah.
Right?
But it makes it harder to, I think for me, I want to, like I've got that process of I want to try this, or maybe if I tweak that thing, but you could never do that with close-up because you just never know what you're coming into. And it teaches you to be adaptable, and it teaches you how to improvise and work around problems. It's good for that. But in terms of like when I started doing stand-up comedy, it was such a refreshing change to do a show to people that wanted to see a show. Like I was walking on stage and people have come to see a show, and this is amazing. And like,
and they paid for that. I mean, it's different because
different.
Yeah, because they are paying to see you.
Yeah.
It's different than let me show you some magic.
Exactly. And because of that, the power dynamic is then different. And so you can walk on stage and be different with an audience than if you have just spent 5 minutes trying to convince them that you're good enough to watch. It's a whole different thing. And
unless you could convince them before that they want to see you, like in that same wedding, right?
Exactly.
That can be a challenge.
That can be a challenge. But like sometimes, you know, when you do like a wedding and then you've done all the tables once and you've still got a bit of time, so you go back around. Yeah. It's always better the second time round.
Sure.
Because now they want it. You've made a good impression. Now they want to see it.
And they are drunkers.
Yeah, also, and they've had a drink. That always helps. but now they want to see you, and they come over, show us some more. That's much better position for magic than having to convince people you're worth watching.
But it's also possible to mitigate those barriers that you were talking about, like this variable. Of course, it's not always the same. But if you perform always at the same venue, for example, you can kind of mitigate that. You for example, you know that you can do only certain types of routines if you have like a table, and you know that in that venue there is this corner who has this table, and
the angle is a certain way, and you can,
and
definitely.
People position themselves in a certain way. So there are ways that this can be.
That's true. I think what I mean is, in like what I experienced, I was always in a different venue. It was always different circumstance. There's not like where I live. There's not like a residency where you can you know what you're going into. But I think, but this is the thing. Every magician has a different experience, and what works for some people doesn't work for others, and it's the same with.
But you still perform corporate shows or?
I do corporate shows. I very rarely do close up, and like I would say, my close up is not very unique or original. It's
commercial.
Commercial stuff. But it kind of has to be as well. There's not really a lot of room for risks or.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You have 5 minutes to impress.
Yeah. And like they need to be impressed quickly. And so, I can't do stuff where I'm talking to my past self or anything. It's too out there for.
And you have a manager, right?
Yep.
Because many magicians, most probably that are watching now, they don't have a manager. So how was it to have a manager and having someone, basically you don't take care of the bookings, right? You just, someone tells you, Jack, this is the place, that's how it works?
Yeah. And that basically, I got my manager before filming Britain's Got Talent. It was basically off the back of the video stuff. And then, but he deals more with live work. And he was always the one that said to me, you should be doing more live stuff because, there's a lot of money there, but also I think you'll probably enjoy it. And I was like, oh, I'm quite happy in my garage making videos. And then I did Britain's Got Talent. I mean, this is crazy. Like, I did stand-up comedy for a bit. Hadn't performed on stage for like, I'm going to say, when did COVID end? 2022? Hadn't performed on stage in like 5 years. And then did Britain's Got Talent audition, having no stage experience for 5 years. And then I was like, oh, actually, I quite like this. I've missed this. And then I got back into it. So he was the one that said you should do more live work. But yeah, it's nice being in a position where I can just focus on the creative stuff, whether it's video, whether it's live.
That's great.
I don't have to deal with like the admin side of it. Yeah, that's great.
They just tell you where it is, the client, and
yeah, and probably that's the reason why I still enjoy it. I imagine if I was having to deal more with the admin stuff, and I'm spending hours,
demotivating. I think
probably,
as well.
Yes.
yeah,
because you deal with so I don't know,
we have been
much
there. It's
bad vibe. You know,
Yeah.
you are dealing with a client, and then the client tries to lower your price down, and why is that?
And now the spark for being creative is gone because you've spent hours on an email trying to.
Yes,
that's right.
Yeah,
and then you start questioning why this client is trying to lower my price down, and why am I doing wrong? You know, so these kind of thoughts, I think that they can do more harm than good. So it's I think it's I mean, for every magician that wants to do this admin part, good for them. But I think this if you really want to have this creative flow, I think this is very important. Definitely. To have this someone taking care of that.
Is it hard to find a manager? There are companies that manage artists, and so you send them the information, and if they like you, they book you.
I'll be honest.
Is there any process? Or?
I'll be honest. I don't really know the process. I got quite lucky. I basically got off the back of Britain's Got Talent, having been kind of working in that world before doing the show. Basically, like through Russ Stevens, I met this guy and we spoke for ages, and then I signed on with him. So it was my route. I think was not a route that can be repeated for anybody. So I don't really know what the process is.
Okay.
I got quite lucky there, but I think it helped that I had this online following at that point.
Of course, and you are really good. I mean, it's
but yeah, I've never really thought about the manager.
But the Fringe Festival, it's a way to get that
type of management.
That's true, and that's when I say about like the doors that would open. Maybe I've kind of already, but I would still like to do
it's a different audience, I believe.
I think so. Yeah, I think it's more of an artistic audience.
Yeah.
A little bit of everything I've been told.
Yeah, and also there's a lot of like comedians do Edinburgh Fringe as well. Like it's a big comedy scene.
It's not magic only. It's like more.
There's a lot of magicians though.
Yeah.
More and more, I think.
Yeah.
Yes. What's your process to write a script? Because you told me some of your scripts and I'm like, I was laughing. It's like we're acting for me, and I'm laughing because you have so many good jokes. Is there any process to create this kind of original script, or?
Oh, that's a question and a half. Can we cut out the 10-minute silence while I think about what my answer is? Let me have a think.
Or you just say, I'm just smart, sorry, and that's it.
Yeah, I'm just smart.
Okay, let's continue.
There is process for writing stuff. Like comedy stuff, there is like the punchline and the I don't know the terms, but
there is there's like ways, there's like structures that you can follow. I think we spoke before about, because you were telling me some of the ideas you've got for products, and you think of an idea, and because you know so many methods, it's actually, you're not limited by your knowledge of methods, so the idea can be anything. Whereas I don't know that many methods. So when I see a method, I think the method sparks the idea. You show me one of your products that's coming out that honestly, when you see this thing,
I guess.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. And when I saw that then sparked an idea of a routine that I could do with it that's probably quite different to what everybody else would do with it.
That's right.
And so in that case, I see method and then I think idea, whereas I think you go idea and then think of the method.
Probably.
So that's like a process for magic, but it's different for the comedy because I think it starts with, right, what's the trick?
So imagine this. Tomorrow I need to have like 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Like a stand-up thing, 2 minutes. I know nothing about comedy. I don't know scripting.
Yeah.
What will be your advice for me?
Right. First thing, who is the audience?
Young people like between 20 and 25.
Okay.
Swearing, it always works.
Swearing works, yeah.
All right. So.
Okay, so you're performing to a young audience, so you want to do stuff that is relatable to a young audience. So immediately I'm thinking maybe it's something to do with something that's happening online. maybe it's a trend, maybe it's a song that's currently online. And then you start going, okay, well, who are these people? What is the gig? Obviously that matters. So are you on stage? Is this
Yes,
like
a stage.
you're on stage? People have paid money to see you?
No.
No? They don't know who you are.
No.
You're part of an ensemble show.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're making this invited to try something. What?
Yeah, but then it's like, okay, so you've got a group of 20 to 25-year-olds, and you want to do something. Okay, well, are you going to get anybody up on stage with you?
It's up to you. You tell me.
Yeah, but
You're making it hard.
Yeah, but these are the questions that I ask myself.
Okay.
So I'm working on a routine at the moment. I'm working on a routine that involves a coin toss,
Which is unbelievable, by the way.
Thank you. My criteria at the start of it was I know that I want to get somebody up on stage because the rest of the show, there's hardly any time when somebody comes up on stage. And in terms of variety of the show, so I know that. So I know I want somebody, because the more specific you get, the easier it is to be creative. Because the hardest question, when you said at the start, okay, write me some material, immediately it's everything. So we need to pin this down, right?
Okay.
So what's the audience? Where are you performing?
Yes.
What is the criteria? And the more specific you get.
Okay.
So I knew, so for this coin routine, I knew that I wanted to get somebody up on stage.
Okay.
I didn't want it to be a card trick. And I wanted it to be strong. Like, this isn't a filler trick. I want a strong ending. And then you start thinking, okay, well, for me, I'm thinking, well, what have I got that I'm working on? And I was like, oh, I'm learning this move where I can do a coin toss and maybe influence what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that's a good premise for a trick. Maybe I can tell an audience that I'm actually learning this move. And maybe the premise is that I'm going to try and do this live. And actually, wouldn't it be good if I said, I've won the world championship of this move, coin toss. I've won the world championship. And I'm now going to demonstrate how good I am. And I get somebody up on stage because I need them on stage because they need to see if the coin is heads or tails. And then the routine starts opening up, because then you think, okay, well, what's the process for getting somebody up on stage? How do I make this entertaining? Mm-hmm. Because I don't just want to pick somebody. What's the end of the routine? Because I can control this, but what's the big finish? And now we're getting into specifics, and then it's easier to be creative, I think, because now you kind of have a structure. You know kind of roughly what you want to do. I kind of don't want to say too much of what the routine is,
of course.
But you know, like, it's the specific. Comedy is in the specificity where you go, this specific thing. It's like, I'll give you an example that is in the show now. The lie detector hat, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which I've got down here. I'll put on in a minute. That started as an idea for a video. You can buy these hats that have got a bulb on them, and the idea is that it lights up when you've got an idea. All right.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I love the visual of that. Love it. And it looks funny when you put it.
Why would someone
I
would buy that?
I have no idea why that's a product.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
I have no idea why that's a product, but
That's
it is.
the thing.
But
so I bought that with the idea of it being like a lie detector. No, I didn't even buy it. Somebody had one. Somebody had one and lent me it, and I just borrowed it for a video. And I thought, wouldn't it be funny if I could, with a video, make it look like it flashed red, and then make it look like it flashed green, and I put in sound effects for buzz and ping. And then I did a lot of videos with this thing, and I realized it's a really good format. This is what I try and do. I try and come up with a format. So the trick is almost not important. The point of the routine is this hat. Mm-hmm. So I can do whatever trick. And the comedy comes from it buzzing and it pinging. I'm saying, this is the best trick you're ever going to see in your life. It's a pretty okay trick. Bing. That's where the value of the routine is. And then now the trick can be anything, really. So I was doing this as a video series, and I was writing lines for these videos. And then I kind of thought, if I'm going to start doing live work, this could work live. And now this is where we talk about like people helping out. So an amazing magician and consultant called Mark Lemon built this hat. I'll show you the hat.
We cannot tell lies from now on.
From now on,
yes.
Nothing but the truth. So this is now the physical thing, right? And this is like something that really, this is really like
that gag. It's
make
it on purpose.
Yeah, on purpose. Yeah, I do it every time. I also do it and don't realize I'm about to do it. On Britain's Got Talent, it broke the night before the final. And I was like, oh my days. And Mark, bless him, came up and like soldered it. It was a prototype. Literally, the first time that I wore this hat was for like 30 people in like this pub in like a working men's club. The second time I used the hat was Britain's Got Talent final when I put it on Simon Cowell's head. It was so fresh. Like I'd hardly ever done it. And people watched it and went, this is like, surely you've been doing this routine for years. And I was like, no, that was the second time I ever did it.
Wow.
So yeah, right. Let me show you what it does.
Okay.
The amount of props that are down here now is ridiculous. So the premise is, if it's going to buzz, right? It's going to buzz and go red whenever I tell a lie. Like if I say something like, I don't know, this is the world's best podcast. Right. And it's going to ping and go green when I tell the truth. Like if I say something like, I'm holding up a knife. Yeah. So now you know when I'm telling the truth and when I'm lying about simple things. It'll help you with the magic, like holding up a knife. Yeah. Sorry, a fork. All right. Not as thick as I look. So, brilliant. If I say something like, we're going to do the world's best card trick, yeah? World's best card trick. And it's a pretty good card trick. Yeah, and I show you 5 cards, all right? The blank on the front and the red on the back. Blank on the front, red on the back, and that's it, right? Nothing sneaky going on. That's all you need to know, right? Okay, well, one of the cards is the Ace of Spades. But apart from that, that's it. Full truth, nothing sneaky going on. That's all you need. Right, okay, the blue on the back. The blue on the back, but apart from that, that's it. That's all you need to know. That's the full... All right, so royal flush is what it is. That is annoying. Okay, so... But the point is not the trick. Like the focus is the hat, isn't it? It's the comedy comes from the hat.
Of course.
And the trick could be anything. This is just a nice visual thing that works live and on video. And so this was an idea, like for the live show, we talk about the process. It started off as a video, and then it became, oh, I wonder if I could do this live. I've still got the hat on, and I realised how silly this looks. And then it's like, I wonder if I could, like, what's the trick? What's the best thing you could do with a hat? And then I realised the best thing you could do is have something appear in the bulb.
Right. It's a great... Yeah.
And then I was like, actually, what if I put the hat on somebody else's head? And so like, and I always knew that for Britain's Got Talent, if I got to the final, the last thing I would do is I would put that hat on Simon Cowell's head, because I was like, that is the perfect thing you can do with it. Mm-hmm. And yeah, it went really well on the day. Right, come on, let's... It went, no, honestly, I didn't win. I came runner-up, which I'm not bothered about. Okay, it's £250,000.
Really?
If you win it, yeah. So like I said, I'm not bothered.
It's a lot of money.
Yeah, okay, it really hurt actually. So, anyway, right, I'm going to turn this off. This is, but like this thing is like you can do anything with it now.
Yeah.
Like so this is where I talk about. This is where I talk about formats. So like. To me, the creative stuff comes from the format. So the format is, I'm going to wear a lie detector hat. Now, what tricks can I do while I do that? And like in the show, there's other stuff where the format is I'm talking to myself on screen. I know that's the format, and now it's specific. Well, what can the routine be then? So that's when you say like, oh, write me a routine. You've got to get specific. Think of what's the... I think that unlocks the process.
Yeah.
But again, like, I'm no expert in this. I'm literally learning as I go along.
I remember one part of your show with the cups and balls.
Yeah.
I thought it was so fresh in terms of, for those who don't know, the balls like speak with each other. And, they are like living characters.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And that's so funny. That all the lines.
It's ridiculous.
It's really
it's amazing. It's amazing.
And then you would put the cup on the ball, and the ball is muffed.
Yeah. And suddenly there's now a reason for the cups and balls. Yeah. That routine though, I'm still not happy with at all. Like that was,
but it's quite interesting, quite good.
Yeah, but this when we talk about the difference between magicians and lay audience, that works the best for magicians, and I've still not got it. I've still not got it to work well for a lay audience. It does not work as well as it does for magicians, and I think it's because magicians understand what the cups and balls is so much that it's immediately, oh, he's doing the cups and balls with voices.
But it's different.
Yeah. But for normal people, they're going, why are the balls talking?
Right.
So I need to find a way of, like, I think that would, if I did magic conventions, that would probably be a routine that I would do all the time. But I need to find a way of making it work better for a lay audience, which is why the whole thing's a work in progress. But again, though, like, that trick is like the format is, oh, the balls are going to be characters and they're going to have voices. And actually it's more of like a ventriloquism routine than it is a magic routine.
Yes.
And then now you've done that, then you can go into the specifics of, oh, wouldn't it be funny to shut the ball up by putting, and maybe I lift it up and it has a go and I put it back down. Maybe I try and get rid of it and now it's over here and it's talking again. And now because you've started with the format, it opens up all these ideas. So that's the massive thing for me, is figure out what the format is first.
Yeah.
We can discuss a little bit the way that you attach these sounds to things, because that's a thing. We only discovered after seeing your show, like the next day, that you were using one prop. We can call it prop.
Yeah.
It's called solo effects.
Yeah, and it's like a little black box, and it means you can trigger all your own.
It's unbelievable.
But you do it yourself. Like you have a remote with the cues, and you trigger those cues.
The whole thing. There's audio, video, live camera, everything that appears on screen, and
lights
everything that you hear.
Lights, no.
It does do lights, but I don't do the lights because I mean that's a brand new feature I've never tried. But it is possible, yeah. But like, especially at Blackpool, you've got a lighting team there. Like, they know exactly what they're doing.
Sure, of course.
But yeah, it's funny with the sound stuff. When you like, I've been working the show in at cruise ships, and when you turn up and give the tech crew, the tech crew are expecting a big sheet full of like sound cues and okay, when do we do this one? And they're like, oh, what do you want us to do? And I'm like, oh no, you just chill out. As long as they can hear me.
And they will be fired because they don't.
Yeah, and now they're redundant, but they love it. They're like, what? And so that it's now like that's a magic trick in itself for them. But for me, so much of the show is a lot of the comedy is reliant on timing. And when videos are coming in and stuff, I can't rely on a sound man doing it at the right time. I need to have full control. And again, a little bit like selfishly, I quite like the pride of knowing that I've done everything on stage. Yes. The same as the video stuff.
Invisibly.
Yeah. And like, I mean, it's quite...
You are not pushing a button. For people that don't know the system, you are not taking a remote or go into your pants and pushing buttons.
It looks like there's a full sound team running cues. And
yes, 100%.
Even the table you have for the cups and balls, when you drag the table, there's this squeaky sound.
Yeah.
That's
amazing.
Yeah. And it works with this RFID or
RFID tags. Yeah.
Not only. I assume that they also have like magnet switches, because you just need to actually touch the table or approach the table, and because you have something on you and you approach the table, the cue is
basically like you've got, it's all run off an iPad. You do all the cues on an iPad. You've got your little solo unit. There's Bluetooth that connects to the iPad, and basically whenever you run an RFID tag over it,
it
triggers the next thing, or it triggers a specific.
So you're not tied to a remote.
Exactly. And so like there are certain bits where, you know, there's. I mean, I don't want to give away too much of the show, but there are bits where like videos start playing that we don't necessarily think of videos, and that wouldn't. If I'm cueing that, I can understand the exact timing. But like I say, if somebody else was doing it, imagine turning up to a venue. I've got like 100 cues. For the
no, it wouldn't work.
Yeah, you would have like you'd have to do 2 days to learn the exact timing, and then you're nervous because your whole act relies on somebody else. It wouldn't work, and this is why I was like quite nervous of doing Blackpool, because I didn't want any like ideas to get pinched and nicked. And then somebody said to me afterwards, like, nobody's going to nick that, because the amount of how hard it is to actually cue. I think cueing the sounds and stuff is harder than doing the tricks,
because it's the tricks, it's the script, it's everything, the video. Wow, one guy can do all that. I mean, it's crazy.
There's not a lot of room for improv is the only thing. Like my worry is that I go too far down that, because it's very, very well rehearsed and very, but I want it to feel like I'm still like in the moment and can react to stuff.
You are not that's playing.
Because what you don't want to happen is you start playing a thing, and now somebody starts talking and I can't respond because we're into this thing now. So there's a balance act there where like there's like, even with the hat, there's like certain things where, you know, you really got to be careful of when you do the pre-timed bits and when you can allow the show to breathe.
Of course, that's important.
So that's the one thing I'm wary of. I don't want to go too much down because I think the show can immediately start to feel, if people just think they're watching something that is like the same every night, like a movie, that's not what a live experience is. There should be a little bit of
You can pause songs.
Yeah, you can pause stuff. Yeah.
Okay, great.
I never do, but I think,
just in case something happens, someone says something, or I don't know, wherever. But
yeah. But do you know what though? The music stuff, I think that came from the video world because, like, when you're in the world of editing, like sound effects and video and music are so crucial to like the production quality. It's the same with your trailers.
of course,
You know,
Miguel has dozens of sound effects.
yeah,
And
yeah. So like, you know, maybe a card changes and it's a vroom, and it's a riser into a song. All this stuff is it's so important to make it feel like high production. And then I thought, why is nobody doing this on stage? I mean, people are, of course, but most magicians do not understand the importance of like what makes good theatre, and it's having a good backing track, or maybe there's music, and then for the final reveal, the music stops, and now it's just silence, and it makes that reveal so much more powerful. There's so many like things that once you, but it all came from the video stuff.
Wanted to ask you something. So your show relies quite a lot on the video that you have on the background. Do you have any version of your show without the video? So let's say, for example, that you go to a venue and there is some kind of issue, I don't know, with the wall, the LED walls, or I don't know.
Okay, here's a story then.
Yeah.
This happened quite recently. I was on a cruise ship. This was maybe a month ago, and obviously the whole thing runs off the iPad. HDMI from the iPad, and it connects to their screen. Yeah,
video, as well?
everything.
Okay.
Everything from the iPad. And I was on this ship, and for whatever reason, their system, the projector or the screen, was like really old tech. And so when I connected my iPad to their tech, the iPad, it just would not. They were not compatible. I think the code, I don't know, the signal was not compatible with their thing. And suddenly, I don't have a video feed.
You are in the sea.
You're in the ocean. You can't just go to the shop and get an adapter, right? So now I'm like, oh, I don't have the wall. I've got to do. So all I've got sound effects. I basically I then spent the rest. This was 10 a.m. in the morning. The first rehearsal was at 5 p.m. I spent the rest of the day making a new show.
I did. Yeah.
That used routines, but okay, I can't use the video feed here. So I was trying to do stuff. I mean, it was a nightmare, but I now have a backup show that I know if I have that problem. But then I was relying on the sound man and the video man to do certain things at certain times. And that's when I felt that's when I was like, wow, I've been really lucky with, or rather this has made me appreciate when it does work. And really, and all it was like a converter from the old signal to the new signal. So like, it was nothing. It wasn't the iPad. It wasn't the solo thing. It was just this. It was because their system was so old. But now
I'm sure you have it on your
all the time.
luggage.
Yeah,
of course.
Yeah, and like that is the only issue I've ever had. Yeah, but you do sort of think I'm nervous every gig until I know the screen works, and then I'm happy.
You show.
Yeah.
Perhaps in the future you'll have your own screen. Perhaps.
Probably. Yeah.
That way you are.
I've got a good 30 minutes that I can do without a screen.
30 minutes.
And then after that, maybe I need a screen because there's so many
many details. It's amazing. The part where you stop with the cars and stays freezing. And it's amazing. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I can't wait to like this. My end goal with the show is to do it on tour and then film it properly as a proper like comedy magic special.
Yeah.
And release it.
I think you should,
because I've tried to write the show so that it rewards like rewatchability. So like certain threads that pay off, like a bit like a movie that's really well written. You go, oh, I want to watch that again because I want to see how they've set that up. That's what I want people to feel like when they watch the special.
I believe that it would be very good content for Netflix and or HBO or something like that.
I agree.
But again though, like from somebody that doesn't really have like I'm still up and coming. Maybe this first one, maybe we can't convince anyone to buy it, and so maybe I release it on YouTube. But that then becomes the advert to pitch for the second show, maybe.
You'll be extremely successful. There's no doubts about it, in my opinion.
You mentioned in the early of the podcast that you are preparing a show. I don't know, like with a break, like it's 45 minutes and then another 45 minutes.
Yeah.
It's not that common to see magic shows with interval.
I know you're telling me. I didn't know this.
Everyone is pretty everyone. Yeah.
I wanted to ask you. So, what's your experience with that, and how do you see it working? Like, people is not used to this.
Yeah,
are two very different.
But this can be a fresh thing. I think it's
So what do you think is the normal like a 75-minute show just straight through.
Straight through, and lots with the ups and downs and all that. But people, experience the whole thing, and then it's the end.
It's difficult, isn't it? Because really, it's kind of two shows. Because the first half, you have to have some sort of resolution so that it feels like when they go to the interval, like, oh, that was. You don't want to leave too many threads that haven't been resolved. But at the same time, you want to have the two halves feel like they're connected. But again, like we now need two openers. We need two tricks that are quick at the start. We need two closers. And so I didn't think about this, but basically when we booked the tour, the theaters said you need to have an interval.
Okay.
Because that's how they make the money with selling drinks.
That's right. Yeah.
And so,
but I see this working. Perhaps, of course, it will be a new show. But like the first part is, let's imagine your show, your current show, and the second part is like totally different stuff. Like I don't know, clown show or horror show or something. You see, so it's like the opposite.
Yeah, it's like two different shows.
Two different shows, but they they are connected because. So perhaps this could be a...
Well, to be fair, having done this now, I did think for the next one, I wanted to do a 75-minute straight through because of the challenges of this. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe you do 20 minutes as an opener, then an interval, and then a 60-minute show. I don't know. Maybe here's a taster, quick thing, and then here's the full thing.
I think those challenges are worth exploring because it's not common, and this is how magic evolves, and the whole entertainment evolves. New stuff, fresh things, like new concepts, and having an interval on a magic show can also be a good thing.
But again, this is where I'm not very well educated when it comes to magic or magic shows. Like, I know enough.
You have one amazing magic show.
but like I draw a lot of my inspiration from stuff outside of magic.
Yeah.
So like when you say, oh, most magic shows don't have an interval, I'm like, do they not? I didn't know that.
Right.
But I quite like that because it means that I'm not going in with blinkers. I'm just like, I'm doing my own thing, and if it's original, great. I quite like that. And it's because I took the approach of comedy. Most comedy shows are two halves with an interval.
Yes, exactly.
That's how I'm kind of like, I want it to feel as much of a comedy show as a magic show. And so I've been taking the comedian's approach most of the time.
But that's perhaps because of the context. I don't know. Comedy shows usually are in bars, and people are drinking, and perhaps the break is, I don't know, people go to the bathroom or go buy another drink.
Yeah, it's different in the theater, isn't it?
Yes, the theater is a different experience. So you can have, of course, a break in the show, but it's like if you go to the theater, it's like to see an art piece, something like a theater piece. So it's like a full experience from beginning to end. I think the context plays a big part.
But and it's and like in my show, there's like 10 minutes before the show even starts. There's kind of stuff happening on the screen that I don't know how early you got to the show, but there's like before the show starts.
Not too early.
There's like 10 minutes where stuff is happening on screen. The show is kind of started, but not quite, which you couldn't do in these other areas. You could only do that in a theater. And so, I quite like that it's different. But again, like I said, I'm so new to it that I'm just kind of trying to figure out what, like the challenges you mentioned there about the interval. I didn't even see that as a challenge. I just thought that was the normal thing. Okay, I need two openers. I need two.
Yeah, it's not normal. It's not very common.
But I think next time, maybe 75 minutes next time. I don't know. Like I say, this is the first time I'll do the tour, learn from experience. This was the massive thing in the nuclear engineering world. I can't say too much about what the job was because I've signed like official secrets.
Serious?
Yeah. Really not as interesting as it sounds. No, but it is interesting. But basically, my job would be. What can I say that the Russians can't take information from? I would put the
bye.
The Russians are coming to the this podcast is the big one for Russians. I worked on the team that would put the uranium in the nuclear reactor. This was a process that happened maybe once every 3-4 years. Okay, the process takes like 2 months of working every day, 12-hour shifts, day and night shift, full thing. Because the process only happens once every 4 years, it's a very like specialized job. And the rest of the time, the rest of the 3 or 4 years would be spent analyzing this process and try to make it better for the next time. That was our entire job for the rest of the time.
That's it.
And that has taught me so much about, like we talk about the challenges of doing the tour, we talk about the show, filming every show, watching it through, learning from experience. This didn't work, this did. The note taking and the in the moment, like trying to figure out what worked and what didn't. That is how you get good quick, I think. And so when you mentioned about all the challenges with the theatre this time that I didn't know were challenges and now I do, for next time, I probably will address them. And maybe next time I will do 75 minutes. Or maybe I go, well, I know a bit more about magic. I quite like being different. Let's do 245s again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Why not? Yeah.
Yeah, there's so much, I don't know, a lot of things going on in my head that... We spent 2 days, right? We've had 2 days of you just showing me the most mental tricks ever. And I feel like, you know, when you finish Blackpool and your head is absolutely fried and you've just like, you can't, people are showing you stuff and you're like, that's just, I can't even process what I'm looking at anymore. That's how I feel after spending 2 days in here and seeing all this stuff. But like, this is the thing about magic that's amazing, like the creativity it sparks. Like there's stuff, I don't know. I feel like it's so easy to look at the history of magic and what the majority of magicians are doing and just thinking, we're all doing the same thing. It's so stale. But there's like pockets of people that are doing really like interesting stuff. And I think it's them people that are going to advance the art of magic.
That's very important.
Yeah.
Otherwise, there is no innovation. There is,
yeah,
it's a dead art form.
Do you have like this is like a very classic question, but inspirations in magic for you? So you are young, so you must have like I don't know. You must. Do you know who David Copperfield is? Like,
sorry, who? I don't know.
But what are you?
It's funny you mentioned that because we've been on about David Copperfield, and for me, David Copperfield is not a massive inspiration because he wasn't on TV when I was growing up.
Exactly.
Even David Blaine, when I was growing up, it kind of was on TV, but kind of not. I think actually I'm of a weird generation where there wasn't really a magician that was the biggest magician. There was not really a magician, especially in England. We had Dynamo. But he kind of, we were at different, like when I was growing up, he was kind of just at the wrong time. So my influence as a kid was like watching YouTube, like Chris Ramsey, people like that on YouTube that are teaching tricks and stuff. And that's how I started learning. And that's what kind of got me into it. And I think the social media stuff is basically what is going to be inspiring kids now as well. Mm-hmm. Because apart from maybe... I'm trying, like David Blaine is still relevant. Justin Willman, I guess, has got Netflix stuff going on.
Yes, he's amazing.
But there's not who are the big names now that are universal?
There's not a magician for this generation, like
not really.
The biggest.
Not really. And so, however, and this is something I said earlier, I do think that the perception of magic is improving because, and I think that's down to video, because before social media, the vast majority of people, like lay people that have seen magic, have seen close-up magic, and the vast majority of close-up magicians are okay, but are not particularly amazing. Mm-hmm. And so most people's, what they think of magic is based off that experience. But now videos come along, magic videos that go viral, either go viral because they're really good or they're really bad. Mm-hmm. But that means that most people have seen a magic video that's really good and have seen what magic can be. And they would never have seen that had social media not been a thing. They would have just seen the close-up guy do,
Absolutely.
I don't know, rabbits and SpongeBob.
I also think like that because it's a way for people to see magic, even if it's like bad or good.
Yeah.
Probably good because
because the bad stuff doesn't usually get recommended unless there's exposure. That gets.
But that's also an audience.
Yeah.
Right. You can do a live show for 100 people, but then one of your videos has like 7 million views. Mm-hmm. So you get 7 million people to watch your show. Like online. Yeah. Yeah. So
it's a different audience, isn't it?
It's a different audience, but it's people.
And it's
so-
still like whatever the future of magic is going to be, it's still being influenced by that. In fact, that has got more influence than the 100 people that saw you live, because you're reaching more people.
Of course.
Pockets of people all around the world. It's crazy,
right.
really. It's crazy. But that's quite a worrying thing, because I would say it's quite easy to say most magicians are pretty average, but most social media magicians that are big, I mean, this might be a controversial thing to say, but I would say most social media magicians that have got tens of millions of followers are not good magicians.
Really? Can you name? No.
No, like live, like in the.
You name them, and I'll let
I don't-
I'll let the hat ping. I'll go red.
Yes.
No, but you know what I mean. There are certain people that are like really good magicians, but the people that are on social media, you know the people that don't care about magic, and they've just found that doing a quick trick to a lady with a bikini on, you know, that's
okay,
going
I
viral.
know, I know-
Do you,
okay, no,
you know
I
what
know
I
a
mean?
few
Like that's a
names.
different, So that's a different thing. Like that's not what, and people are getting exposed to that. That's not what magic is. That's not.
No. Yeah.
And it's the same for like people that are exposing tricks, I guess. But yeah, those people. So that's kind of the worrying thing, because I think that's more of a problem. There's not that the things that go viral are good usually, but there's not that many people doing social media magic that well, because a lot of people are doing it for magicians. They're like, oh, look at this cool gimmick and magicians go crazy for it, but it's not reaching a lay audience.
Right.
But the magicians that are reaching a lay audience either are on a Got Talent TV show, or are doing stuff that is, you know, to a lady in a bikini, or it's like they're doing this and they've got a friend here, and it's just trash.
It's trash. That's trash. Yes.
Yeah, it's like fast food
Yes.
magic.
Exactly.
And there's not many people doing their own home cooked meals on social media. But it's there's a reason for that. It's difficult.
It's a full-time job.
Yeah.
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 So it's
And I'm not knocking them people, because they've got it's their living, and like they can do what they want. But that audience is not. You're not helping the future of magic by
That's right.
doing that. And
That's the thing.
But it's not everybody's responsibility to improve the future of magic. So, like,
But I would love to see more people doing, for example, what you do, the quality, and because there are not many people that take magic forward nowadays. I think on Instagram, and it's like more of the same. Your things are very original. For example, which social media magician do you like? For example, anyone that you look up for? Or?
Yeah, there's a few people. I mean, Chris Ramsey obviously was the one that inspired me as a kid, and now I see people like. Let me have a think. Well, I mean, people like. Oh, Jesus Christ, I forgot his name. Edit this bit out while I remember his
if
name.
you go to your phone and open Instagram.
Yeah, I'll do that.
What is the first magician that helps?
Jackie Yu.
Yes, it's
Amazing.
Yes, yes.
Let me open up my phone now, and I'll find the magicians that I follow, because there are some really good ones, and also some good ones that like are up and coming and not many people know. There's and like young people as well. So Stephen Bridges used to do really good magic stuff. He does more like card counting stuff now, but he was incredible. I want to do shout out to the people that I've seen that are like slightly smaller followers, but they definitely are going to be the big names going forward. And these are like young guys.
Do you spend a lot of time on the social media as well?
I try and
Do you
avoid.
consume?
No, I try. I find that the people that consume never create.
Huh.
They're too busy. They're too busy just watching. I'd rather be making it than watching it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I've got an app on my phone that limits
Oh.
the time I can spend on social media.
Really?
Yeah, because
It's called Break? No.
it's called Screen Zen, and it gives me 10 minutes. I can log on a maximum an hour, but basically what it does is you click on social media, and you've got to wait 10 seconds before it lets you on the app. Because what I found was I'd open up my phone, and my thumb is just already on Instagram, and I didn't even mean to go on it.
Yes.
And I've spent 10 minutes looking at Instagram, and I've gone, what? I didn't even mean to do that. And so your brain is like trained to do it. But when you download this app, your thumb just presses it, and now you're just looking at a blank screen for 10 seconds, and it switches your brain on, and you go, hang
Really?
on, what? Yeah.
What's the name again?
Screen Zen.
Screen Zen.
Really good.
Huh.
So I've limited it, but the thing is, I kind of have to be online.
It's your
because-
sponsor.
Yeah, affiliate link in the description.
We should find
one
we should
sees
find a
this.
sponsor for this podcast.
Yeah. Right, here we go. Samuel Osborne. Samuel Osborne does incredible card work.
Okay.
I don't think many people know who he is, but he's really good. There's another one called Caleb. Let me find his name. That's it. Caleb Simpson. Again, really good stuff. There's there's a few people that are doing really good stuff, and I think they're the people that are gonna they're doing good magic.
Yeah,
and-
that pushes the magic forward.
yeah, and that perception for lay audience, they're doing stuff for lay audience, and it's really good, and that's the sort of stuff that's gonna help magic.
Yeah. Do you have any more questions, Arthur? Or
Yes, perhaps I have one. So we're talking about apps. Do you so this new AI world? Do you use it, or do you find some use for it, or do you fancy using it in some way?
It's a dangerous thing, isn't it? Because I think it's one of the things
not as dangerous as nuclear.
It's not as dangerous.
Change my mind.
I mean, for the future of the world, I think it probably is more dangerous.
Yes.
Oh, definitely. If people are getting reliant on, I mean, people are using it to reply to emails.
Yes, I don't write emails anymore.
No, but that means over time we're going to get worse at communication.
That's
we're going to get worse.
Thing, yeah.
We're going to get worse at thinking for ourselves.
That's right.
Because we go, okay, I've got an idea. Oh, I wonder what ChatGPT can.
1 + 1. Oh, it's 2. Thank you.
Yeah.
And what scares me the most is that you pay the subscription for ChatGPT and any AI. The thing is, tomorrow, when they decide that they want to charge $500 per month, you'll be paying that.
Yeah, because you rely on it. You rely on it
because you need it.
Yeah, and maybe the day that it doesn't work. Yeah, the day that it doesn't work, you're like, oh, my brain is soup. I don't know how to think. I think that will be. But
really,
yeah.
Well, if they remove it for like 1 month or 2 months, you think?
Honestly, yeah. But if there's 10 years from now, if they just switched off AI for 2 months,
I cannot think.
Yeah,
the world would go crazy.
The general IQ of what you perceive people to have would definitely decrease because we rely on it already too much, and it's just in the infancy of what it is.
It's going to be particularly noticeable, I think, in the next generation, like your kid, because we grew without AI, and so we are trained to think for ourselves and to.
But that's a scary thought because if kids are grown up with it. Yeah. Oh my God! Definitely. But this is why I think the future of magic is safe, because I think AI. I think there will become a point where we get sick of, because you're going to watch videos and you're not going to know if it's real or not.
Already happens.
It's already happening, right?
Yeah.
It's going to be the same with magic, actually. Because of that, I think the live experience is going to be so much more meaningful, because that's not AI. When you turn up to a theater and you turn your phone off and you watch a show, it's real, and you know for a fact it's real.
Yes.
And maybe there's going to be shows where we wear VR goggles and we watch magic shows in our living room. I don't know, but even then, if that's a thing, there will be a version of the show where there's no VR, there's no tech, and you go and watch the thing and it's live, and that experience will be so much richer because the rest of the world this AI thing is so big. And so I actually think live entertainment, also outside of magic, is forever safe now, because this thing is becoming more and more prominent. So I think it's good news for magic, but it's going to be interesting with what the online thing looks like, definitely. Right, while we're here, for my fellow English uncultured people, you don't have your name there. It's not JWoww. It's not wow. It's, what is it again? João.
Come on, you.
It's. Hang on. I've got one.
You want me to say?
No. Are you ready? ASMR. João. No? Sorry. João. João. João Miranda.
Yes, that's better.
Okay. Nailed it first time.
It's hard, right, for people to say, because, I mean, here in Portugal, it's very common, this name, but...
Yeah, well, yeah. And also, like, it's so different to... It's not like it's a variation on Jack or John. It's like a very...
Yes.
Yeah.
Sorry, I will change my name. I'll change it.
No, in England, it's either... Yeah. We either say wow, Jiao, Joe.
Really?
Yeah. I don't think anybody knows how to say your name. I still... Now you've told me, I still don't know how to say your name.
Yeah. I will make another just for you.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Translations underneath it.
So that's it. That wraps this up.
Yes,
anything else that you want to talk about, or this has much more views than your videos, so please take the chance. Our subscribers,
this is 8 million views as opposed to 7,
which are 1,000 subscribers, which are a lot.
No, I want to say genuinely, thank you for having me. Like this
My
past
pleasure.
couple of days has been amazing. I'll be honest. When you first approached, I was skeptical. My opinion, or because I did like obviously I've seen your products and I've seen the trailers and I see your stuff at Blackpool. It's all amazing, but like I think most magic shops, I think like what's the word I'm after? Just they're after a quick. The magic world is quite easy to sell to. Magicians love to buy the hottest new thing, and I think a lot of magic shops they will like, you know, you give me examples of what products you're working on, and you go, oh, there's a problem there. It's going to take another 2 months to fix that, and we're going to have to delay shipping. Okay, well it needs to be fixed, and you will sort the problem. Even if it's like not a problem, even if it's just like you've thought of a better way of doing it, right? Scrap that, we're doing it all again. Other magic shops, like. They're just going to get it out, get it with quick sale, and it's good enough. No one's going to care.
It's the V1.
Yeah,
then
it's the V1, and then 2 years it's the V2.5, and yeah. But so I was like, I'm not sure if we're going to like get on. I don't know what like. But I was interested to come over, and then we spoke of like 2 days on about like creativity, art. You've been showing me all this magic stuff. You've been showing like your personal collection. It's unbelievable. And I'm going home now with like a new spark and we've been discussing ideas and stuff. And I think. As important as it is that there are performers that are pushing forward the art of magic, I think it's also on magic shops and the magic industry to be reaching that same attention to detail and that same level of perfectionism, which is what your stuff is. I mean, I'm looking at you now, but the background is like 7 3D printers that are all away printing the latest release. That's like the next level. I mean, I can't wait for this thing to be released that I've seen. It's unbelievable.
Oh, great. Thank you so much.
But genuinely, thanks for having me. It's been amazing. And
you are very kind. Thanks so much.
Pleasure.
No, it's been great.
Yes, it was a real pleasure because we are fans of your work. So it was a real pleasure to have you here with us.
Appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Subscribe. And affiliate link for the, what was it? Screen Zen, 10% off.
Yes.
In the description.
And the solo thing.
And the solo, yeah.
Guys, if you are seeing, send 2 units at least. So, okay. Thanks so much. See you in the next one.
Bye.